There has been considerable discussion about how to effectively pay the teachers to best address further education. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, well, with the change of union rights of teachers and that's made a big change. And a lot of what you are hearing now is what's called educator effectiveness. And it's really mean teacher and principal evaluations. And every school will be required, I believe starting next year or the year after, I'm not for sure which date for sure, to evaluate every teacher and have a system set up that has to be approved by the state. Of course, there's only 2 systems so far that have been approved by the state. These evaluations look at what the teacher does in the classroom, how they handle their classroom, their teaching techniques, what are they teaching students, and also what the students are achieving. And that's where the state testing will come in. A problem with it is then how do you compensate the teachers who do well on these evaluations and that? I feel that we need to come up with a system that fairly compensates all teachers that do a good job and that, which most of ours do. You hear this about poor teachers, poor teachers. There's very poor teachers in the state of Wisconsin and even fewer in our district. But we need to develop a system that retains those teachers, or we're going to lose them to neighboring districts where they get paid better, or we're not going to attract teachers now. You can start talking to a lot of kids who have just graduated from college and teaching degrees, and Wisconsin used to be a state they wanted to teach in, or they were told, try to get a job in Wisconsin. It's now not that way. A lot of them are starting to say, hey, I can look at neighboring states, make more money in that. So we're seeing a drain of our students, people we've educated out. Specifically, what do you do? It's hard to say, because it all goes back to that budget. How much money do you need to spend? But I also look at, it's not always money that compensates people for the job they do. And the board and the district have to start looking, are there alternatives to necessarily the dollar amount, how we can compensate teachers. But the big thing is going to be, we're going to have to keep a schedule that's equal to at least surrounding districts.
If you are elected to the Grand School Board, what are your greatest assets you can contribute?
Well, first of all, I would say it's my experience. I've got a number of years on the board. It takes a long time to learn what's going on the board, understand the budgeting process, and that even after 10 years, every time I go to training on the budget, I learn more of how we are budgeting our money and how it's budgeted. The other thing is, I'm a strong believer in this school and this school district. I think we do an excellent job. You only need to look at what our kids have achieved academically, sports-wise, extracurricular-wise, to know that we are doing good things here. I'm open-minded. I'm willing to compromise. I'm not pushing a personal agenda. I think that's all important.
What are your viewpoints on the credit reduction for graduation? It's currently at 26.
It's a little hard. I've done some background checking on that and understand why it's happening. I initially was proposed to any credit reduction when it's come up years before. It was going to be a much more reduction than that. I worry about if we reduce credits, what classes are we going to cut? There's always say, well, you cut the classes that kids don't take. Well, where does that come? Do you cut AP classes, the advanced placement classes? Do you cut foreign language? Do you cut art? Kids need more than their basics to get into colleges and get accepted. So we have to be careful with that. Cutting to 24 from 26, the way I see it's proposed, is just to cut 2 electives out of a student's whole 4 years. I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that would eliminate them from getting into colleges. But the thing to remember too is kids can take a lot more than that. That's the minimum they need to graduate.
What do you see the Durand School District looking like in the next 10 years?
In the next 10 years, I think we're going to see a drastic change in education all over, not just in Durand. I think the brick and mortar building will still be here, and it'll be a vital place for kids and education. But I think we're going to see far more opening into things like virtual school, online classes, combinations, and that kids, I feel very shortly we need to start looking at requiring kids to do that, because in college now kids are required to do so many credits online in a lot of places. So our students need to be there. Physically, if you want to look at that, the enrollment is getting to a point where I think you're going to see a downsizing in our number of buildings, where whether we'll need 3 buildings, whether we'll even need 2. There's been projections that when I got on the board, it said in 25 years, Durand will be a 1-building school district, K-12. Well, that's 15 years out. So it's there. You're going to see technology explode. We need to step up to the plate with that. We need to look at our policies that prevent our kids from using some technology in the classroom. Prohibiting cell phones is one. We got to look at how to do that, because the smartphones are a whole different thing. But the way the policy is, we need to build the infrastructure to that. It means some money put to that. I think you're going to see that. Every kid's, we're already talking, I'm on the technology committee, we're already talking about every student having some type of a device, laptop, iPad, who knows in 10 years what the thing will be. That's the problem. We're trying to prepare kids in a building for stuff that's not even been developed yet.
Is there anything else you would like to talk about today?
Oh, there's a lot I could talk about in the school district. I just guess I would, first of all, I think it's important for us as a board, as staff, and as a community to say and sell our school. We have good students here. We have our report card is good. You look at all those, it's good. We need to sell that to outside the community. We need to start looking, how many people, not even outside the community, in the school, know that virtual education in the Durand district's an option. They don't. We need to get stuff like that out there so they know. As far as being on the school board, I think I have the abilities and the knowledge. I have over 300 hours of training in school board related items over the years I've been here. I feel that I have the temperament to be on the board. I'm not pushing a personal agenda. I